what helped you the most when you were just starting out?
Get feedback. Like, just listen to other people, send your music around. Don't be shy with it. Because if you just kind of stay in that bubble of, I don't want someone to hear my music, it's like, then why are you making music? It's made to be heard by other people. And don't send it to like friends. You need to send it to peers. Because if you send it to a homie, what do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, dude, that was sick.
That was sick.
That was fucking awesome, bro. And then besides the music, you got to talk to people. And that's hard. It's hard for people, I think, sometimes. You got to just get out there and network and meet people. And people will introduce you and it just kind of grows. And so, yeah, that's what I would say. Those are the two big things, the production side and the networking, meeting people. And, you'll get there.
What's up, guys? On my nose, got a light right on my nose. Brand new podcast with my man Heph, aka Heffrey Dahmer, aka Heffrey Epstein, aka Heffany, aka he's got the most nicknames, and I love this man to death. He is the other co-founder of Realty Records. Shout out to Sam Sirac and Ralph John Visuals. Love you guys. This podcast was great. We went into everything about Impulse, about how Heph started, about the community that's being built in around house music in Philly, and really around electronic music and how we've been incorporating everybody. It's not just people that love house music. Like, it's all these flow artists. It's all these people that love bass music. It's people that just love music and having a good time. And like, that's what it's all about. That's what we started, last summer, Graffiti Pier. It's just been so cool to see him grow, see Sam grow, see Ralph grow, all the people responsible. I'm just keeping it to those three names. So like, if I didn't say your name, like, don't feel left out. I'm just keeping it to those three because they're the three that started Realty Records. So it's just, you know what I mean? But I'm so excited to share this podcast with you guys. Heph is, one of my he's my tech house boyfriend. I love the guy to death, and I'm really excited to see his career. I'm excited to see him grow in his career. As he moves forward, because I met him when he before he opened Ableton. And I've watched him grow to this point, and it's been such a pleasure. I love the guy to death. He's one of the most fun people to be around. This guy knows how to have a good time. And I'm not saying that because like he gets super fucked up or anything like that. Like, him and his personality, like, he knows how to have a good time, and I love him to death. So without further ado, I want to look up that saying. Is it French? It's got to be like French, right? Well, I want to see like what the wording is, because like, I don't even know if I just said it right. But anyway, I love that term. It's without further ado, for yourself. I forget the episode number with Heph, my fucking man. Record now. Because this is for you and all the podcast viewers.
Oh God. I got some granola, so I'm with the healthy kick with you there too. Oh, you savage animal. I feel like I need some eggs too now.
Dude, so well, first here, I'm gonna introduce you and then I'll tell you what. Because I kind of want this in the podcast. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Free Yourself podcast. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ryan Janni, and I am naked. And today we have an incredible, a beautiful, special man as our guest, who just froze there a little bit. My man, Heph.
Holy shit.
I'm so grateful that you're coming on the For Yourself podcast. We just had, of course, the other half of Realty Records, actually the other 1/3 in Sam Sirach of Realty Records, because we got to throw Ralph John in there. You guys are absolutely crushing it with Realty Records, with Impulse, with putting out music. I'm so fucking proud of you guys. I'm so proud. How you doing today, brother?
It's been crazy, dude. It really has. I'm doing good. I got my car towed, so it's a good day. But besides that, we're living. Honestly, everything's great. We're working on stuff, music, the label, the next Impulse show, everything. So it's been a hell of a ride, and it's only been a month or two, and it's been crazy.
And now,
but thank you for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
This next freaking Impulse, we've got a bunch of more heavy hitters on it. So I want you to, can you talk to me about some of the artists here and why you decided to like get them involved with the project?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of the idea for the second one was like a big B2B homie fest type of thing. So we have so there's no one playing on their own. Everyone's like doing it with a partner. So it's first we have the homies Electric Honey and Blanco Rabbit. They're two female up and coming producer DJs in the Philly scene who've been crushing it lately. They're good homies of ours. So it just made sense to bring them on because they really deserve it, and we're happy to have them. So those are the first two people that are playing, and then it's me and Bitsky, the shredding guitar lord of Philadelphia.
Yes.
So that's going to be awesome. I'm just going to play some like techie house music, some original stuff, and he's just going to shred it and play guitar over it. We've done this a few times, and every time we've done it, it's blown my mind because he's so good and he just goes with the flow so well. And he like freestyles a lot of it, and just kind of goes with where the song goes, and just, he just enhances everything. He makes everything better. It's so cool.
Dude, every time I've seen him play with you guys, it's almost like I don't hear that he's adding guitar. It just sounds like it's part of the song.
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
He enhances every freaking song so perfectly. Like doesn't overplay it and doesn't underplay and just do the chord progression that's in the song. Like he's figured it out. He's figured it out.
Dude, it's so cool. Like if it's a buildup, he'll like start slow or do like a long pluck and then get it tighter and tighter, and like it just like it's the coolest thing ever because it's live and he's doing it right in front of you.
Hell yeah.
And I've never seen anything like that, so it's awesome. So every time I get to play with him, it's a pleasure and it's so much fun. And then then after us, it's Sirach and Secret, two bass house daddies who are, they're on the rise, as we like to say. So they're gonna just throw it down and just play some fat beats. I know Nolan and him have a couple collabs that they're going to try to play. And it's just going to be a rager. So that's pretty much it's 3 acts. So we'll each just kind of go one after the other, and it's just going to be a big party the whole time, and everyone's going to crush it. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited.
Hell yeah. And the promos that you guys have.
Oh my God. Dude, I don't even know what's going to happen. We haven't seen the final product yet, but
no, I haven't seen it. I'm eagerly waiting for this week's promotion.
Yeah, the videos we took the other day were honestly absurd. They're honestly ridiculous. They're ridiculous. We took we're kind of combining a couple things. We're combining Always Sunny and like Full House into like one promo video. So it's going to be like a sitcom intro that's just kind of over the top, with just weird scenes like Sam's getting his head like shined by Nolan. I'm coming out of the bathroom, with toilet paper on my foot for I don't know why. I was working on music in there, and I don't know what was going on. What else? What else is going on? Nolan is I think he's he's like washing a WWE belt and pulls it out of the dishwasher and starts shining it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just the whole thing's ridiculous. And we're just gonna chop it all together, kind of like a Full House intro, where you know each person is doing their thing and they look at the camera, and then we're gonna do the Always Sunny music over it. So the whole thing's just absurd. It's just supposed to be something fun and just to get people to laugh and just get some eyes on it. You know, we're trying to take that approach with everything and not be too serious. You know, it's all supposed to be fun and just entertaining and you know, not too serious. That's the main thing. Is you know a lot of people take things a little too serious and things can get lost and the fun of it gets lost and it's you can lose the enjoyment in what you're doing. So we're trying to just keep it light and fun and just happy and not get too serious with everything.
Yeah, that's the point of this, right? We're all trying to have fun. We all love what we do, and we're all trying to come together as a community to boost the freaking morale that's been fucking crushed over the last couple years with everything that's been going on. It's just it's so cool to see you guys taking charge of what you've been planning for the past, technically like a year when the first Realty Records actual conversation like happened. And it's beautiful to see, man. You guys are, you, Sam, Nolan, Kat, and Blanco Rabbit. Actually, what's her real, is that Misha? Or am I totally
Misha.
off on? It is Misha. Yeah. All you guys have on your own been doing so well in your music, your production, your performances, the art that you're putting out along with your music. Like, you guys are really embodying what it takes to be an artist nowadays, and a musician, a real true DJ producer. And it's just been so cool to see you guys, especially you developing, man, over the past 2 years in the pandemic. Like, I'm so freaking proud of you, man. Like,
dude, yeah, thank you. I mean, it's a group effort. It's not anyone on its own. Like, dude, you were there from the beginning too. Like, it's not like we did all this by ourselves. It's been everyone. It's been everyone from Graffiti Pier to your guys' house to, like everything. It wouldn't have happened if we weren't all involved and we wouldn't all like hold each other up, because it wouldn't be the same, not even close. So
it's been awesome,
man. And I can't even believe it, really. Like, I never would have thought like we'd be doing anything like this and actually like having some success to it, like I was like, dude, I just want to throw some events and play some music for people, and it's just kind of snowballed and taken on a mind of its own, and people resonate with it. And it's like, what is going on here? Like I can't believe it. It's crazy. And the thing is, like, my mindset is just keep doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Some things are going to be great. Some things aren't going to be great. Just as long as you stay consistent and just keep going either way, even after something goes wrong or doesn't go well, just keep doing it again and keep pushing, then you'll make up for it down the road somewhere else. It's like, it's when you take the foot off the gas and stop and are like, oh, like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, is when it falls apart. It's kind of all on you to keep pushing yourself and just keep pushing the people around you. Like I said, it's a team effort. It's not anyone by themselves. And as long as you all push each other up and keep going after you stumble, type of thing, you'll find success, and you'll find where you need to go.
And I think one of the coolest things that is coming out of this is like Sam talked about the community, and you're talking about how we all got to work together and bring each other up. But I think one of the biggest things that's come out of this that's been so cool is seeing the bass community and the house communities really come together. Like, and we saw that happen at Graffiti Pier. Like, a lot of the people that were at the Graffiti Pier shows were like more bass music fans and more bass music DJs.
Right.
And then we have the open decks. Everybody would come out to play those open decks, mostly bass guys, right? It wasn't really that many house guys. And then most of the people we booked, it was just like me, you, Sam, and Nolan were like the only house acts. And it really, it was so cool to see people that were fans of bass music become also fans of house music. And it just goes to show that like what you guys and what everyone's been doing is working. And it's not just like there's so much overlap. Like my whole EDM lifetime has been like getting deeper into other genres. And like now I'm at this place where I'm at, and it's just so cool that, because I literally heard a bunch of the Kendama people that were like, I didn't like house music until I came to the Impulse event. And when I heard them tell me that at the Bad Proxy thing, I was like, this is what I've been saying to everybody about electronic music. It's like, if you don't like it, it's because you haven't gone and experienced it. And that really,
a good one.
And that really kind of opens my mind more to being like even more open-minded about certain other things in this world. And it's just like, that's what this is all about. Like having your event, Impulse and Realty Records, all of this is centered around like bringing everybody together, like no matter where they come from. It's just like, it's all love here and it's all fun. Like I love that stuff about you guys. And
that's the whole thing. Exactly. And you're 100% right about the different genres. Like the first couple Graffiti Pier shows we did was like, I was like, yo, everyone here loves dubstep. I was like, what is going on here? But then we would play our house stuff and people would still stick around and vibe and enjoy themselves. And it wasn't, maybe they didn't quite like the music, but they stayed because people liked just being there and the energy was good and there were good people and it was fun, you know? People didn't stick around because they maybe loved the music, but they learned to love it just from sticking around and being around the community. Which I think can change, it changed people's mindsets. And now like people see and they're like, oh, yo, like Ciroc and Heph are doing this thing at Brooklyn Bowl. Let's check it out. Maybe it'll be cool. And then, like you said, they're like, oh, like we went and that was awesome. Like we loved it, but we don't listen to like, we're going to see Sullivan King. We're going to see like Eptic. Like we're not here. We don't usually listen to this kind of stuff with them because they had heard about it and, their friends who liked dubstep or bass music saw it and were there and they were like it was a good time. So you guys should check it out. Which is crazy to me, and like that intersection is not something I thought would ever happen. And it is, it's kind of mind blowing, honestly. The Philly scene like loves dubstep, people in Philly love bass music. So
hell yeah.
To be able to convert some people or just get them interested I think it's a big win in our book.
And then you have all the groups of flow people. So you have like the shufflers, the kendama people, the hoopers and all this stuff, like it's like subgenres of fans of the music. And they're all coming together because a lot, at least in my experience, you see a lot more of the shufflers at house and all the flow stuff, like all the cool other things at bass music. And like everybody, like all of that is about like transference of energy. Like how are you expressing like physical expression of your own energy? And it's like, it's so cool. They're all different pieces of art in this world. And it's so cool to see it all come together. And we saw a lot of that at Graffiti Pier, and we see a lot of it at the the Ave has built a awesome thing that's helped so many of us out and booked all the people we love have basically played there. But it's now like
it's all pieces
low and you guys with freaking Brooklyn Bowl.
It's all pieces of the same puzzle, it's all it's all interconnected. It's just there was invisible barriers, you know, kind of between things. It's like, oh, like I'm bringing my hoops and my fire stick to this thing, and then they never even thought to go do it at a house show or something like that. So like that's where that intersection came from, because obviously shufflers, their thing is house music, but when we're doing the Graffiti Pier show, like anyone came out to it. It was free, so it kind of opened the door to whoever, and it broke that plane, you know, of I'm not paying $10, $15 to go see a house act. I'm just gonna go for free to this thing and see what's there. So we had a little bit of everything, you know. We had bass and we had house, we had it all. And then after a while, those people were like, oh, we had a great time there. Let's go see what this thing at Brooklyn Bowl is, this Impulse thing. And they're like, we'll bring our hoops and our whatever, you know. And they normally wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't have done that maybe 2 years ago. You know, the pandemic time definitely changed things, and it kind of, it made people get creative in how they threw shows and how they did things.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it made things, it decentralized it, honestly. Like it, you know, some big venues closed, big venues couldn't even throw shows. So everything kind of went underground in weird places, and, you know, warehouses or house parties or Graffiti Pier, whatever. It all went out, like outwards, and it was all free for the most part. Like most places weren't charging it during the pandemic. They're just like, we're lucky if people show up, you know?
Yeah.
So it broke the barriers where people were like, all right, well, things are free. Let's just go around, and we can't go to this big, we can't go see anyone big. We might as well go see all the smaller people and see what they're about.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like, that's how it started, you know? It kind of forced people to learn about the local scene a little more, who's playing, who's around. And it let people make friends, make fans, whatever. Like it kind of helped everyone meet each other a little bit more, because everyone was, besides the underground shows, which there wasn't a ton, like they were happening, but there wasn't like a crazy amount. Everyone was on the internet, you know? Everyone's on Instagram, everyone's on Twitter, Facebook. Like everyone was seeing each other like for the first time, because they had nowhere else to go, you know? Like everywhere, everyone who like whenever I posted, I would tag Philadelphia. So like even people who didn't follow me would, you know, see my posts come up or something and be like, oh, who is this guy? What is this guy doing? And I would see the same thing from other people, and I would follow them. So I'm like, oh, like this guy's from Philly, he's playing house music, I'm going to follow this guy and see what's up, and vice versa, you know? And then everyone sees each other online, and it like translates to, hey, like now I've seen you online for like 6 months, and oh, you're throwing a show, or you're playing this thing with a few other people I kind of know. All right, I'll go check it out, you know? And that's kind of, that's what I did. Like I would see stuff like that and be like, oh, like I followed this guy for a while, and he's doing a meetup in the park or whatever. It's like, I'll go, I don't know them, but I'll show up, and there's like 20 people, and there you go. I met some new people, and it just kind of snowballs from there, and everyone gets to know each other, and it just grows, which is exactly what happened. And it seems like it's like almost like we're hitting a renaissance right now, because there's so many EDM, just house, dubstep. There's just so many shows, and a lot of them are big, like with big artists. But then there's also so many small ones from local people, just renting out spaces and throwing events. Like it's crazy. I've never before 2 years ago, I never went to this many events and saw people, and because I just didn't know about it, you know. But now it's super out there, and everyone's just, you know, plugging their own shows and doing things and collabing, and it's so cool to see.
That's another big thing that I love about this, you know, group of people that we've surrounded ourselves with. Like whenever someone has a show, or whenever someone's doing something, like everyone's like jumping on the opportunity to support them. And it's been, you know, that it's a big change of pace from, you know, before, when this didn't, you know, before the that's like, what I'm trying to say is what has really come out of the, you know, since the lockdowns and then everything opening up, is like everybody has been coming out to support everybody. But at first, when we were all locked down, is when, like you said, like we were all meeting people that were doing the same things, because so many people were posting so much more content and stuff, because that's all we could do. We were all locked down in our freaking houses and stuff. And then, whereas before the lockdowns, I didn't have this tight of a, group of people centered around music. Like I obviously had like my college friends, my high school friends, like everyone that from the different parts of my life, but it wasn't as engraved in the music scene. And like, I had some people, but most of my friends were in bass music, and then I had Cosmic Academy, but that was spread across the freaking country. Yeah. Like there's only it was like 4 or 5 people that were in, and they were just in New York. No one was in Philly. There was like one in North Jersey, and then that was it, man. So like finding people that's what, has really happened over this, since we opened up. Like Graffiti Peers, the shows were the first time any of us were really like around that many people in forever. And it's been, man, building this community, all these people, finding all these people with similar interests and getting exposed to the things that they liked also has made it so like we have this all these people. It's just like so much love. Like
it is, and everyone wants to do the same thing. Like everyone has the same interests, like you said, and it's I don't know if so. The way I see it is, if the pandemic didn't happen, I don't think any of this would have happened the same way that it did. Or no way, not even close. Like we got I hate to say it, we got extremely lucky that we were able to kind of like the playing field was leveled for a whole year plus for everyone, and it was either like you either did something with it online and grew and came out of the pandemic, with some kind of following and turned it into something, or you kind of just went stagnant and didn't do anything. So like some people capitalized, some people didn't. And we capitalized on it, and it turned out in our favor somehow, like
hell yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So I feel bad, but it was a blessing and a curse, for some people. For me, it was almost a blessing. Like I'm almost I'm not thankful, but it wouldn't have played out the same way if I was just doing the same thing everyone else was doing, 2 years ago before everything locked down. Like it wouldn't have turned out the same way. Because everyone was, there's a lot of people had maybe head starts or other things, and then it was like everyone came down to the same level almost. And then it was like a refresh, like a restart. Like some people kind of disappeared, and then some new people, came out of the darkness, and I was one of the lucky ones, along with you and Sam and, everyone who just kind of like decided to band together and rise through the ashes of whatever was going on around us and turn it into something. And it all just starts with an idea. It all just starts with meeting someone and being like, oh, like I like this person, like maybe we can do something, and that's how we all kind of came together, which is the craziest thing. And like I said, I hate to say it, but I think the pandemic, it was a good thing in a way for me personally. So I know that might be a little controversial to say though.
I mean, come on. It's like we look at everything that happened in this world, but like in like our own little bubbles that we have, like I know I've been able to do so much and have this vision of this podcast that changed from I was doing DJ sets on Facebook Live for the first 100 episodes, and then I was able to like, I really want to cultivate this. I want to talk to new artists. I want to see there's so many things that I love, and so many things that I don't get to, so many questions and stuff that I don't get to ask like up and coming artists. And I wanted to figure out a way because if I have the questions, I know everyone has the questions, and many people have those questions. But really what I wanted to do was find a way that I could help more people to expand their platform. And like, I've always been able to, have a decent presence on social media and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I love talking to people. I freaking I don't shut up half the time. So like, so it's like, let's use this to my advantage, where my curiosity that I have, I can dive deep into the things that make people interesting and stuff, because that's what I want to talk to them about. And I was able to, we talked before we hit record about how it's changed a little bit and it's looked a little more professional, and I just got new lighting and like all this stuff. And
good.
It's just fun to do this, and to see you from the first time you opened Ableton to where you are now. Like it's like time is gonna happen no matter what. And like, we can't control what happens out there. All we can control is what we do with the time we're given. And like, some people got healthier. Some people became good music producers. Some people became good shufflers. Some people figured out how to create more content and made the best out of a situation where we were all told we couldn't go out and, experienced love from the people around us. And it was that just goes to show you, like, you can take any negative and turn it into a positive, right? And like, you, Sam, Ralph, like, are freaking it's just been beautiful. And all these people that we've connected with, man, we've met some special freaking people.
I mean, it's all about growth. Like you said, the time's going to go by. It's just what you do with it. If you're not, like, I think like being stagnant is the worst thing a person can do for themselves, just as a human being. Like, you don't have to be building an empire, just be doing something. And like, whether that's a new hobby, a new job, a new something, cultivate a new relationship, like, anything. I think like if you're kind of like stuck and you're doing the same thing every day with no like goal or aspiration or anything like to move yourself forward in any way, I think that's really bad for mental health and just bad for the soul. It's not healthy to just do the same thing every day without a purpose. Like, it's cliche, but a purpose is what gives life meaning and gives you a reason to get out of bed every day. Without it, what's the point? Some things grow into, like, some things are small, and you just do it for yourself, and maybe it doesn't take off or whatever it is, or you're just enjoying what you're doing and doing a hobby, whatever. But then some things, just you do them and they become bigger than yourself, and you didn't, 1 second you're like, oh, I'm just throwing some shows, doing some live streams, playing at an empty graffiti park, and then next you're playing shows for 300 people at a LiveNation hosted event venue. Like, what? Like, that's crazy. And I didn't know when I started a year ago that I was going to get to this point. I was like, I'm just happy to be playing music and doing it for people that enjoy it. And crazy, it just happens.
I also want to, I know we're getting up there in time, but I also wanted to talk about, like, what got you into this type of music, because I want to go back to because we've had conversations and you've showed me certain things that have showed me that you're pretty well traveled as well. And like, how did Phil get to this point?
Yeah, dude, that's a good question. I've always loved music my entire life. So I was always, when I was younger, hunting for catchy music. Like, I was always looking for stuff that was catchy and that I could sing along to, and was just like happy, or just mostly catchy. Like, it could be like in high school, I would wake up an hour before I had to go to school and go on iTunes and like buy or like download music that I would just just stuff that I wanted to listen to. And like I was into like a lot of like pop and like kind of pop punk kind of stuff, like but it was always stuff that I thought was super catchy. And whether it was like, and I was like, I would find catchy things in places that you wouldn't expect it to be kind of catchy, like Slipknot songs that were just like catchy as fuck to me. And I was like, yo, like that was a sick melody or rhythm or something. And I would like buy that song on iTunes. You know, I would always ask for iTunes gift cards in like high school and middle school and like download stuff that way. Like I have so many songs right now still downloaded from like my old iTunes days. That I still like when it comes on, I'll leave it on. Like I listen to it because it's awesome. Like dude, like 3 Days Grace and stuff like that. Like you know, Hollywood Undead. Like I love that shit. But it wasn't like it wasn't always about, it was about lyrics a little bit, but it was always like I would always just listen to the song and be like, yo, that was catchy. There's like one thing in there that was super catchy that would just get stuck in my head. And I'd be like, I need to listen to that song like 20 times today because I like that one moment or like couple catchy things in the chorus or whatever. So like that's kind of how things started. And then from there, I started like then I turned to like rap songs that were super like find like catchy stuff in rap music. And then it turned into like I was always just hunting for that catchy, fun melody or whatever it was. And then in like college, I started listening to some like EDM kind of stuff, but I didn't really know it was EDM. Like I didn't really realize what it was. I was just like, oh, this is catchy as fuck. Like this is sick. And it'd be like Nicky Romero or like some kind of progressive house type of stuff. And I was like, yo, this is sick. And then at the end of one of my last years of high school, my family took a vacation to Europe on like a cruise. And one of the stops was in Ibiza, Spain. So we spent one night in Ibiza and my parents were like, oh, we're here. Like we got to go to one of the clubs or whatever.
Yeah. I just, yo, we got to cut it. And then we got to go to Mike Posner. And this is how I wrote, I took a pill and a beat. That's what went through my head right there. So sorry. So your family took
exactly.
one night in Ibiza.
Wait, hold on one sec. I'm good. So we're on this cruise and we stop in Ibiza and my parents like, oh, we gotta like, I was like, we're here. My parents like, we're here. Like, we gotta check out one of the clubs, whatever. So we go to this club called Pacha, which is like one of the bigger, well-known ones that they have there. I'm pretty sure it's still there. Like, I'm pretty sure it's still pretty big, pretty popping. And it was a Thursday or Friday night, but it doesn't matter. They don't care what day of the week it is there. And it was a David Guetta and Friends night. And Nicky Romero was the main person playing.
Oh shit.
And it was sick. And that was my first real introduction to like EDM dance music. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like I had heard like, by this point I had heard Avicii Levels and Skrillex. Like I was familiar with some stuff.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't like deep into it. I didn't really know what house music was or the difference between any genres. You know, I didn't know anything. And I went in there and I was like 17 years old and I lost my mind. There's girls dancing in cages above the dance floor.
Yeah.
It's Europe, it's crazy and all kinds of shit's going on. And I was overwhelmed and I was like, this is the best music I've ever heard in my fucking life. Like, it was crazy and I loved it. And then, so then after that, I started looking into more EDM and started looking up Nicky Romero. And at first it didn't really click for me because I was like, oh my God, what I heard in the club was so much better than the stuff I was finding on iTunes and stuff. I was like, I was searching on YouTube, Pacha, Nicky Romero set 2013 or something. Like I was looking for that specific set because I was like, every song I heard was amazing. Obviously it wasn't up or, I couldn't find it anywhere because the music that I was finding was like, was not the same level of energy and stuff that I heard there, at the actual show. So it kind of like, I was like, oh damn, like this stuff doesn't really exist anywhere. So I kind of like killed it for me for a little bit. So like a couple years, I just kind of was back to listening to rap, whatever. Like I went back to whatever. And then a couple years later, I I started slowly discovering new artists that started popping up, like um what's his name? Like Sid was starting to release some stuff like 2018, like
Yeah.
Sid, like old Sid stuff.
Yo, sweet
Exactly,
memory.
exactly. Don Diablo, like a bit of like Tchami, a little bit. Zoo was the big one that I was
Oh
like, what is
yeah.
it? Like I was like, dude, Zoo was like my shit. That was like my favorite. His first album, fuck, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like the best album of body of music I'd ever heard. 'Cause every song was exactly what I wanted. I was like, it's catchy, it's interesting, vocals, like I was like, this is the shit I've been looking for years, you know, and all the catchy stuff that I've been looking for so long. I was like, this out, like every song on this album was amazing. So I loved Zoo, and then from there is when the rabbit hole started. I started to fall into the hole of you know, just looking at related artists, and then I didn't realize it, but pretty much everything I was finding was house music. You know, without really realizing what house music was quite
Yeah.
yet. And that's when it started happening, of just like curating playlists of dope banger fucking house music, bass house, tech house, deep house, future house, like whatever it was. Like I was doing it, I was looking for all of it. And that's when, you know, I found Tchami. I started listening to like mixes on SoundCloud from like ultra sets and stuff like that. So like there's like a few year gap from that Ibiza to like finding everything for real. Um, and then I started, I guess 2018, something like that. I went to like my first real music festival, which was I think Moonrise in DC, or not DC, in Baltimore was Moonrise. And like I
We
had
were
heard
both
about Chris
there.
Lake.
2018. I was there with you.
Yeah, 2018.
Not with you, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, summer 2018 after we graduated, um, was like Moonrise. And then I started like, that's when I really felt like I fell into the whole like 6 months before Moonrise, but like that's when I realized I was like, oh, Chris Lake. But then I started listening to like some like I started hearing Rez and um, what's it called? I heard about Tiesto before that, but Tiesto was playing that year. And then I started finding Joyride and like that heavy, energetic bass house. You know, Joyride played, and I was like, this is fucking crazy. Um, and I was just losing my mind. And then ever since then, I just fell into the hole of just searching for all that music and looking up all those artists and just making playlists of like, oh, like this is stuff that I would like. And I would always like try to take the aux at parties after that. And like, you know, even like end of college, I would always try to take the aux and be like, all right, I've got bangers. Like I'm playing all this crazy shit right now.
Yes.
Like, and then everyone's like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, shut up. It's fucking fire. Like this is what you're missing. And people are like, dude, no, put on some mainstream song that
Drake.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, yo, put on some Drake, put on some blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that. And I usually get kicked off the aux because I was just playing like house music and shit like that. And people were like, what the fuck is this? And like, I don't care. I was like, dude, you guys are fucking up. And then I remember this one party I went to where I put together this banging playlist of like, I don't even know. It was like happy, fun house music with vocals. It was kind of deep out, like Hayden James, Zoo, some other like super catchy stuff. And like that party loved it. Everyone was like, yo, like, what is this? And I was like, okay, here we go. Like I
finding my people.
Yeah. But it was also like, it was a very mainstream group of people, but they were liking what I was playing. Cause I kind of found that stuff that was right in the middle of, it could kind of be mainstream, but it's house music, but it's catchy and interesting kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, like that feeling when people were like, yo, what is this? and people were dancing and like enjoying it and grooving. I was like, okay, I was like, that is cool. I like that a lot. Like, I was like, I did that, you know, like this party
Hell
wouldn't
yeah.
be popping if I didn't put on these, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, that's cool shit. And that was the thing that got me. I was like, okay, I could like, that was my first vision of I could be up on stage and do what those guys were doing that I've been finding music, you know, like I was like, oh, that was my first thought about it, you know? And then I was like, this is really fucking cool. And then, you know, after that, I didn't really pick up the decks for a really long time. I just kept curating playlists and finding music and just looking for the next, like, you know, I went deeper and deeper into the hole basically, you know, and then I was realizing who was mainstream in the world of EDM, who was like underground. And like, I was like, I always want to be playing stuff that isn't super mainstream. Like into my sets now, like I'll never play a Fisher song. I'll never play a Chris Lake song. It's just like, it's not beneath me. It's just like, I know so many other people are playing it. I don't want to do that. Like I can't play something that I know a million other people have played already. It's not interesting. Like,
yeah, I can tell from my personal experience of listening to your sets. I literally said to you after your set, dude, I don't think I could have named one song in your set. Like, it was all new underground house music that I had never heard before. And it's funny because, you know, we were watching the Ultra live stream set and like when you're on that big of a stage and stuff, like I get why someone's going to play all the biggest hits.
Absolutely.
Because especially with how they got to there, they have one of the biggest hits and they want to support, you know, the other artists that, but like there's nothing better. I think there's nothing better like feeling as a DJ, one, than playing your own song and people going nuts to it. But two is when someone comes up to you after the set and they were like, dude, Shazam couldn't even find this fucking song. Like,
yeah, exactly. And like, I don't knock anyone for playing Fisher or Chris Lake. Like they have bangers. Like they have some of the best house music that's on the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, did I lose you? Okay.
No,
yeah,
they're always
the best
like
house music on the planet. Like I don't blame you for playing it.
They're always like two of my top 5 listened to on fucking Spotify. Like I love them, but like I agree, like playing their music during
like
this set is it's my goal. The reason like why you're successful at what you're doing is because you're exposing people to new stuff that's high quality. And I mean, you guys are embodying that in Realty Records and Impulse.
Yep. We're trying to. That's the goal. Like our goal is to find people who aren't necessarily well known, but are making really good music. Like that's what we want to do. We want to bring that out and show them off. That's our whole thing. And like, honestly, it's hard to do because as a new label, we don't have much of a reputation right now. You know, we have one song out on the label, second one coming out this month, but like we need to build up that reputation of putting out good music. And then hopefully, you know, other artists who are smaller will send us stuff like, and want to sign with us. That's the whole goal. But we realize that's going to take time. And right now we have a lot of homies in the community right now that are making good stuff and we know them and they're homies of ours. So that's where we're going to start. We have to start with people we know who are making good stuff and put them up. And then as we do that more, it'll entice other people to send us stuff too. Cause we realize we're just getting started. We can't expect people to want to send us music right now. We have to work for it. We have to earn their trust that we can treat it right and do right by them before we can expect to get, you know, amazing stuff from people. We have to just work with the best people we can find right now who want to work with us and elevate them as much as we can. And then, you know, the rest will follow, you know, eventually down the road. It's going to take time. And, you know, we're happy to do that. And we're also like, our main thing is when we get a demo, we've gotten demos, like I'll listen to it. I'll give you some feedback and like answer the email. the worst thing is sending music to a label, getting a response of like, yo, this was cool, and then never hearing back like ever again.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point, you know? So our thing is, you know, even if we don't sign your music or take it, we'll try to give you feedback. We'll invite you to the Discord. We'll tell you, send more, send it in the feedback channel. We're happy to like do that kind of stuff. And then as people improve, we're like, yo, like, you've been in here for a couple months, you made bangers, and like you've improved so much. Send us something new, you know, like that's the whole point. And hopefully, you know, people see that and realize it's a little different than those other labels. And our whole thing is to stay grounded in that. And if as long as we can continue that, even if we do get bigger, like that's the whole goal. Just building that community and lifting people up and not leaving anyone hanging is if we can do that, I think we'll see some success here.
Hell yeah, man. And
yeah,
I guess one little final question: if say someone is just getting started and but they don't really know, you know, what direction they want to go in, like what is your advice to someone who's just starting out? Like, what helped you the most when you were just starting out?
Dude, honestly, almost what I just said. The thing that helped me the most. So the first 6 months of music production, I kind of was in a little bit of a bubble of just making stuff, going on YouTube, making things, trying to copy things, trying to learn Ableton, whatever. And then my first like 4 or 5 songs I made, I was like, this is sick. This is the best shit ever. And then then I started going to some feedback sessions and getting absolutely roasted, hammered, like this is garbage. Like this shit stinks. And I was like, oh, damn. And I was like, okay, I needed that because I had started listening to it and had more of an objective view of the music. And I was like, yeah, this is not good. This is bad. This is really bad. And that was the thing that I tell people when they ask me, get feedback. Don't be shy with your music. Send it around. Send it to someone who's better than you at music production and take the heat. Like, don't be shy. Don't hold it close to your chest. Get it out there, get ears on it, get honest reaction and honest feedback, because that'll make you so much better in the long run. And like find a mentor or find someone who you like trust to send your music to, and like let them be honest. Like, don't get butthurt. Don't like get upset that they said your music wasn't good or whatever, or that they were like, yo, you're just like, gave you a bunch of like honest feedback and you were like, nah, fuck that. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. Like, just listen to other people, send your music around. Don't be shy with it. Because if you just kind of stay in that bubble of, I don't want someone to hear my music, it's like, then why are you making music? It's made to be heard by other people. And if you don't do that, what's the point? So that's my biggest thing, is get feedback, send it to others. Don't hold on to it, you know, get it out there. Not like release it necessarily, but just send it to people and like ask for honest feedback. And don't send it to like friends. You need to send it to like peers, you know, other people who know what they're talking about. Because if you send it to a homie, what do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, dude, that was sick.
That was sick.
That was fucking awesome, bro. It's like, that's not useful. That's not useful. And they're probably lying to you.
Yeah, you know? Because they love you.
They love you. They're your friend. They're not going to tell you that your snare sucks. You know, like your bass line is brutal. You know, like they're not going to tell you that. They probably don't even know. Honestly, maybe they're not lying. They're just being honest. Like, oh, that was so sick. Mm-hmm. They don't know what they're talking about. You know, so send it to people who know what they're talking about. Don't be shy. And just keep going. Keep doing it, because obviously the first 6 months to year, it's not going to be good. Like, most of my music from that first year is terrible. And then my best music I've made more recently, once I've gotten feedback, known what to look for, how to listen to my music objectively. Like, that's when my music has gotten better. Once I found my own not style of music, my own like way of producing, my own, you know, production style, not sound necessarily, but my own style of like making music. Once you find your process, and that takes a long time, because the first thing you have to learn is how to use the DAW. You know, that takes time, and then you have to figure out what you like, what you don't like. You have to learn some sound design, like at least minimally learn sound design. Of course, you can always get like packs and stuff like that, like sample packs and like, you know, presets for your stuff. But eventually you're going to have to learn some of these things, and that's going to take time. And then once you figure out your process, what you like to do, what plugins you like, what makes sense for you, you'll find your style and it'll all come together. And that takes a long time. It takes a couple years. Like I've been doing it for almost 2 years now, and I still don't have all that down, but it's a lot better than it was before because I've put so much time into it. Like I got super lucky with the pandemic because I didn't have a job. So my job was learning how to produce. Like that's all I did all day for a year, every day, pretty much. And that amplified the speed at which I learned, because I was doing it all the time. You know, if I had a job or if it wasn't pandemic time, I'd be working, or, you know, I couldn't wake up and just roll over to this chair, turn on the speakers and just go at it. You know, I did that every day, and I couldn't do that if it was regular times. You know, if it was 2019, I couldn't have done that. I would have spent maybe an hour or two a day at most. I was spending like 10 hours a day doing it, you know? So that's why I like how quickly I was able to learn everything and start actually making some decent stuff, but still not great, you know, until I started getting feedback and everything. Like I've made probably 50 songs, you know, whatever. And maybe like my last 5 are the only good ones, you know, like it's going to take a lot of time. And that, as long as you just keep doing it, that you'll get there, you know? And then besides the music, you got to talk to people, and that's hard. It's hard for people, I think, sometimes. You know, you got to just get out there and network and meet people and chat it up and just make some friends. You don't have to be friends and like everyone you meet, but you got to like get out there and meet someone, because as soon as you meet one person, you'll meet another through that person, and another and another, and you know, people will introduce you, and it just kind of grows. And you know, I meet people that they know who I am, and I'm like, I have no idea who you are. I'm sorry, you know, and I don't mean it. They're just like, oh, like, no, I've seen your stuff. I've seen your name on like a flyer or whatever. Like, I know you. I was like, oh, like that's fucking crazy. That's so cool. Hell and then, you know, I try my best to learn people's names and chat and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I would say. Those are the two big things, the production side and the networking, meeting people, and, you know, you'll get there.
That's some fucking beautiful advice, my man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Phil, my man, Heph, I love you so freaking much. Bro. I will definitely see you April 9th, next weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, and we'll have all the links to all your stuff in the comments. But final thing, April 9th, Brooklyn Bowl, Philadelphia, Impulse 2. Catch all these incredible artists that are all from Philly. At Brooklyn Bowl. I'm so excited, man. This is gonna be a great freaking time. Realty Records, Heph.
Records, Impulse. Let's go.
Fuck yeah, man. To everybody that hung in with us, thank you so much. Your love and support means the world. And until next time, peace, love.
Thank you so much. Love you, Janni.
Unity, respect.
Peace out.
Out.